My name's James Gedda, and I'm a singer-songwriter from here in the region.
She shuts down every local joint and pushes far beyond the point she used to go.
I play country, folk, sometimes blues. I guess rootsy sort of stuff. I guess these days it falls under the label of Americana, which is probably more true to me than, country.
When she can't find something stronger, then she'll long for old reliable again.
So it's kind of funny. When I was a kid, I didn't really listen to music much at all. But then, it was always around. My family's mostly from the South, so it was a lot of country music, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, that kind of stuff playing growing up. And so it was kind of the backdrop, the soundtrack to my youth. And then when I was maybe 13 or 14, my voice dropped to about as low as it is now. And I started figuring out about 16, 17 that I had kind of a knack for singing. And so that Christmas of 2006, I was 17 years old. I got my first guitar, and it was kind of off to the races after that.
But he'll keep his post till his heart gives the ghost, standing right there where he's been.
It used to be more the old school stuff, primarily with Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. Then somewhere in college, there started to become a shift where I was listening more to good songwriters like Townes Van Zandt and Chris Christopherson and Guy Clark. And, I'd fall down these rabbit holes of these hugely influential songwriters of like country, folk kind of music. And that kind of continued through to where then in more recent years, I've been listening to more Tyler Childers and Jason Isbell and Sturgill Simpson and, Arlo McKinley. And there's just a whole new wave of these really good folk singers and songwriters and doing their thing in their own kind of niche and still making a good living, even if they're not household names. They tour all over the world and they're, fill up places everywhere they go. So that's where it's been more lately, and that's kind of what's made me realize I can make an honest go of it for a living.
She texts him, "Are you busy now?" and asking how his long work week is gone.
I suppose I do it because it's what I'm best at. The old saying, if you're good at something, never do it for free. So I try not to too much. I frequent the open mics and the jam nights, but I just play music because when I don't, it feels like there's something missing. I'm a fairly well-read guy. I got a college degree. I could probably have a solid 9 to 5 somewhere and just play music in the evenings or whatever. But I feel like it would drive me insane. It's I got the urge to write songs and to play songs and to have people empathize with them. And it's just kind of this. It's just this urge. It's this feeling that you got something in that you want to put out.
When she has no one to call on, then she'll fall on old reliable again.
We have a pretty thriving music scene around here. This bar we're in right now, Finnegan's, it's kind of an institution of the local music scene. COVID it put a big pause on everything. In January and February, I was gigging around pretty well, even into March, and I put out a new EP back in February and was trying to play out and, get people's attention towards it, and started to get some things going in Chicago. And then all of a sudden COVID happened, and it was just pumping the brakes on everything. And everybody kind of had to figure out what they were going to do around it. Because, I thankfully don't have the burden of worrying about too many bills to pay, but a lot of guys have houses, they have families, they have cars, they have a lot of expenses that don't take a pause just because the gigs are drying up. So then it was a lot of live streams. It was a lot, some guys have started Patreons just as a means of getting whatever money they can. And I was doing live streams with my friend Jack Whittle for probably about 4 or 5 months, and it's kind of looking like we'll start doing them again because this December, kind of going into January, gigs are drying up again. So it's not a perfect substitute, and there's no substitute for playing music you love in front of a bar full of people and getting free drinks all night, and that's always a good thing. But it's something. I couldn't just sit at home and shut up for 5 months.
Maybe to Denver, back where she studied art. Perhaps to Portland.
This is what I'm best at, and this is what I like to do, and there's a means of making money to it. It's just getting it in front of the right people and in the right rooms. So that's where I'm at right now. It's just, COVID aside, just working the hustle and playing as many places as I can in front of as many different people as I can. Just trying to make it work.
Cheated and lied. She's not the one who gave up. No, she's tried. She knows it's not her fault. And
I always got a few songs in the works. Like my phone, I have a Google Doc full of song ideas that, usually starts with little couplets and things like that. Sometimes they get written, sometimes they don't. So I'm always writing something, always working on learning stuff. Then I'm in the early stages of working on a new album, like full band, full album. Up till now, I've only done 2 acoustic EPs, and I'm very proud of them. But it's I love the feeling of a full band playing a song, especially one of my songs. That's the next project, and hopefully out sometime in the first half of 2021, working with my friend Jack Whittle, who's producing it and kind of figuring out how we're going to go about it. Got a good group of local musicians who are down to play on it. It's just lining things up and, getting the money right and everything like that. So it's early stages of planning that, and just started playing the harmonica recently as just a means of adding more to my sound. Because, even when gigs start happening again in the way it's been in the fall, it's a lot of solo gigs. And even I get bored of listening to me just strum away on the guitar for 3 hours.
For some big music fest, she's had a few lovers, but
it's cliche, but you got to work at it. You got to, practice your instrument. You got to practice your voice. You got to, if you're a writer, you got to keep writing. The more stuff you do and the more stuff you put out, the better you're going to end up being. The more influences you have coming in, it's going to get your mind going different directions. And aside from that, it's building up a base of contacts. Find other musicians that you can play with or that play places, and figure out jam nights, open mics, things like that. Because you can practice all you want in front of the mirror in your bedroom, but you never really know if you got it down until there's stakes, until you have to get it right the first try with an audience there. The most important thing I can stress to people is, when the world's normal again, when things start making sense and places start opening up and places start booking music, if you like music and you like local music, just go out and see somebody. Even if you just swing by the bar for a show and have a couple of beers and listen, throw $1 in the tip jar, whatever. The most important thing is having people in the seats, because otherwise we don't have a way to make a living.
She's not the one who cheated.
So you can go to jamesgeddamusic.com, where I have videos and links to my music on Spotify, and a merch store where you can buy t-shirts, stickers, physical music, digital music, whatever have you. Then also I'm on Facebook at James Gedda Music and on Instagram at James Gedda.
Who let her